Arsenic in rice, how much is safe to eat? And do we really need to be picking white over brown when it comes to watching arsenic levels?
So the quick answer to this is we can eat a fair bit of rice before we need to worry about the arsenic. If I remember correctly, it's something like 8 servings of rice, a serving being half a cup, so like 4 cups of white rice, and slightly over half of that for brown rice. But we should, yeah. Why don't we look it up? Let's look up the numbers and see exactly what they are. So I wrote it all out on the whiteboard, skipping over some of the actual math, but all of the numbers are here if you want to do the math yourself and double check. So the chronic reference dose for inorganic arsenic is 0.3 micrograms of arsenic per kilogram body weight per day. So that is the amount of arsenic that we want to stay below. And a 2016 study that measured the amount of arsenic in rice. Rice is one of the higher arsenic foods. It's the dominant source of this heavy metal in most people's diet. White rice averaged 92 micrograms per kilogram of rice, and brown rice averaged 154 micrograms per kilogram. One serving is equal to 1 ounce. That's 28 grams. That translates when you cook to about half a cup cooked. So therefore, if you were a 70-kilogram adult, and you would have to like do the math over again if you were not, but that would translate to about 8 servings per day of white rice, or just shy of 5 servings per day of brown rice would keep you below the chronic reference dose, assuming that rice was your only source of arsenic exposure. If you crunch the numbers for children using all of the numbers for infants, and how much arsenic is in infant rice cereal. It doesn't matter, brown and white baby cereal are about the same. That's about 8 servings for infants. So that is the amount of arsenic that or the amount of rice that we can consume without having to worry about the arsenic exposure. So if you are somebody who consumes 5 cups per day of brown rice, it might be worth mixing that up. But I would also argue, even outside of arsenic exposure, mixing up the whole grains that we're consuming is still a beneficial eating pattern. It's worthwhile just emphasizing that this is one of the reasons why dietary diversity is such an important healthy eating pattern, not just because it reduces the risk of having nutrient shortfalls because we're eating a wider variety of foods. So we just have a higher chance of getting that full range of nutrients that our bodies need, but it's also because it stops us from overdoing any one food that might expose us to too high levels of a pollutant, or expose us to too high levels of a nutrient for which, high levels can be toxic, because lots of nutrients that also have tolerable upper limits and can be toxic in too high levels. So it's another reason why dietary diversity is beneficial. But as long as you're not eating five cups a day of brown rice or 8 cups a day of white rice, uh, the scaled up or down for the person size, you should be good.